Yes.
Yeah. So let me quickly give an introduction so we'll be on our way. On July the 1st, 2023, we celebrated here in Holland the abolition of the slave trade. We call it Ketikoti. And it was done at the Oosterpark in Amsterdam. The King Willem-Alexander, was in attendance, and he gave a speech, and he apologized on behalf of the Dutch state and also the royal family for their role in the past during the slavery. There are also a couple of activities scheduled to take place the course of the year, all in connection with the abolition of slavery. And Southeast District is also specially connected with the slavery past due to the fact that the diverse numbers of people from former colonies who are here, who are living here in Southeast. And so this whole issue resonates well with all of these people. And this morning we have a guest who is of a Suriname origin and ancestry, and she is able to relate very well to this matter too. In her portfolio, she's responsible for diversity and anti-discrimination, and this places her squarely in charge of slavery past-related matters. And so on this note, we'd like to welcome Ms. Vayhista Miskin. Welcome this morning.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
Yes, yes.
So we are going to have you, Your Excellency, and then we are moving forward right now.
You're muted. You're muted. Yes, sorry. Yeah.
We're glad to have you, Your Excellency, and we are moving straight now to the first question to you. So what is it about your ancestry or roots that make you passionate about the slavery past of this country?
Excuse me?
Yeah, what is it about your ancestry or roots that make you passionate about the slavery past of this country?
Ooh, this is a good question. Well, I guess there are two answers. First of all, I am in charge of the developments regarding the slave trade past of the Netherlands here in Amsterdam Southeast. So this means I have to be the voice for all of our inhabitants in Southeast who have a relationship with this slavery past. It means we are focusing on equity and not on equality. So this is an important thing to mention. And as a child of immigrants, I grew up with this idea that especially Amsterdam has been built on the labor of my forefathers. So this means when I was a little child and we visited the center of Amsterdam, my parents would tell me stories about the slavery past, showing me items and signs where you can notice this richness of Amsterdam has a background in tears and forced labor.
Wow.
So I am really happy and content that we are talking about this subject nationwide. I am really grateful for the King to speak out on this matter and to eventually apologize for the role, especially for the role of his family in this story. But I think we are just at the beginning. So this is the first step towards a Dutch society where all people are really equal.
You made a very important point in the beginning. You spoke about equity and equality. Would you mind clarifying the difference between the two?
So in the Netherlands, we are all equal. It says this in the Constitution, Article number 1.
Yeah.
But in reality, we face different challenges. Let's say my parents don't have vermogen.
Yeah, the have ability assets or
Assets.
yes.
Yes. So this means when there are certain challenges in life, if your parents don't have assets, it means your challenge is a bigger challenge than someone whose parents have assets. And if
Mhm.
you relate this to the past of slavery, it is because my forefathers were unable to grow assets.
Mm,
So we still live this inequity up unto this day.
mm.
This is
Well,
a small example.
example.
And let's be honest, studies have shown that if you are a white male with a criminal past,
Mhm.
the chance for you to land a job interview is twice as big as for someone who looks like me.
Yeah.
So there are some challenges in the Netherlands present day that we need to face, and we need
Mm.
to be honest about the origin. The origin is from the slavery past.
Well, amazing. Great answer. I love that.
So,
So after let me take this one, then you can take it.
okay.
After the king's and the prime minister's apology for the slavery past, do you feel that this gesture is enough to effect healing and a true reconciliation between the descendants of the slaves and the former slave masters? Or does much more need to happen? And if so, what is that?
Mm. See, this apology, it did something to people in their heart, because this is the first time there is official recognition
Mhm.
for the slavery past. So I guess the king put the first step towards healing.
Yes.
And now everyone has to take their responsibility to make sure we heal as a nation. Um, if you talk about the inequity we just spoke about, let's say the level
Unequal chances on the job market, for example.
or the job market, there are still so many steps to take. But
Mm.
it is really important that the king apologized, because now we are able to take further steps as a nation, and not only as descendants of slaves, but also the descendants of slave owners, because we don't talk about them
No,
much.
no, 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 no.
We should talk about them more often.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, how would you use your portfolio for diversity and anti-discrimination to help promote equal and gender balanced Southeast?
um, on diversity and inclusion.
And anti-discrimination, yes. Your portfolio responsibility, how would you use that to promote
To
a
promote
gender
that?
balanced society?
Yeah.
Yes.
See, what I try to do is not to see diversity as inclusion as a separate subject.
Mhm.
So, what I try to do is to put diversity and inclusion on every portfolio I own. So, if we talk about the job market, we should have diversity and inclusion, but not only horizontal. We
Mhm.
should work towards vertical diversity and inclusion, because I think this is something missing in Southeast. We all know when you walk into the building of a big company and you take the elevator, the higher you go, the less melanin we see. So
Yeah.
this is something we need to address. We need to talk about it with the company owners, but we also need to talk to our uh, inhabitants of Southeast. We need to talk about them. What is it that we can assist you with to gain these qualities the people on the highest
Upper
floor need?
level half, yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
we need to connect these two worlds, because I
Mm.
believe all our children have the qualities to be successful. It's
Yes.
just a matter of asking them the right questions.
Mhm.
What do they need for us to assist with so they can achieve these levels?
Yeah, there's a question about, let's say, the school advice and
Mhm.
how unfavorable that has been towards colored people. That question actually was going to come up later, but is that not linked to the fact that maybe people who are say native Dutch and those who are descendants, I mean, of slaves who are here, I mean, because of the negative advice or unequal advice or positive advice that they get from school, it affects the direction in which they go and how far they can climb in a career,
Mhm,
for example.
mhm.
So can you comment on that and what do you think should change?
Through I should say upfront that education is in hands of my dearest colleague Tanya Yatnanansing.
Okay.
But if we talk in regard to inequity, a lower school advice is a huge setback for children at a young age.
Mhm.
And it means to gain their qualifications on high school or MBO or HBO or university, they have to take a longer path, which in my eyes is unnecessary. So this is something we need to address as a collective. So parents need to speak out. We, as the dagelijks bestuur of Southeast, need to speak out on this matter. But we need schools to acknowledge that what we see as a strength,
Mm.
they qualify as weakness. Because if I am a child living in poverty and I don't have access to 3 meals a day and I still do my tests well,
Yeah,
how powerful am I as a child? So why is my situation at home seen as a weakness instead as a
that's
strength?
right.
Yeah.
Did they use one's background also in a part of the evaluation for school advice? Like if somebody comes from a home where you don't have 3 square meals a day, or you have you're from a single parent, does that
This used
roll
to
up
be the
into
case.
the kind of advice you get?
This used to be the case, but a few
Okay.
years ago in the city council, they accepted a new rule where it says your background or the home visit the teacher does
Yeah.
is not allowed to be integrated in the school advice.
Wow, I didn't never knew this one.
Sorry.
Yeah, so it's not allowed anymore. It's not
Ah.
allowed anymore. Mm.
Wow. Well, listeners, if you are listening to this broadcast, you're welcome to give us a call on the studio line 020-737-1301. It's a special broadcast, usually beyond our normal broadcasting hours, but we're grateful to be having this discussion right now with Mr. Vayhista. So if you're welcome to interrupt the call at any time, and we'll gladly take your questions. Okay.
So yes, so the side B of this question you've not answered it, please. So it is, how will you use your portfolio to help to promote equal and gender balance Southeast? So what are you doing right now
Could you
towards,
please repeat the question? I hear an echo.
Okay.
yes, how will you use your portfolio to make sure that diversity and anti-discrimination, your portfolio as a diversity minister or anti-discriminatory minister, to promote an equal and gender balance Southeast?
Yeah. So, like I said before, I don't I don't address diversity and inclusion as a separate subject. I try to include it in all my portfolios. If we talk about green, if we talk about public space, if we talk about the job market, but as well as our services towards young people. It is a subject I always talk about. So when we talk about green, I say, okay, in Southeast we love green. It used to be a really green part of Amsterdam, and what we see now with all this new housing is that maybe in these new neighborhoods the percentage of green is lower than we are used to.
Yeah.
Um, So I address this matter and I say, okay, if we have all these projects in the city center talking about green and adding more green to the neighborhoods, we should have these same projects in Southeast.
Yes.
So this is how I try to connect diversity and inclusion, because we are equal to any inhabitant of Amsterdam,
Yes.
citywide. So anything that happens in the city center, we should have access to.
Yes.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. Then I want to make reference to a quote regarding discrimination on the labor market. And the quote is, it says, "Why moeten het momentum vasthouden door de router achter de comma met vet letters af te drukken." I don't know whether I spoke the Dutch well, but okay. So this is a quote from a briefing made by either you or the Douglas Bastu.
Mhm.
So the question is, what is the space after the comma, and how may that space be filled up?
See, the space behind the comma, it has not been defined yet. So this is an invitation to you and all your listeners. If you have any ideas about how we should fill in this space after the comma, please contact me and give me your ideas, because I am not going to fill in this space behind the comma on my own, because I am not alone in this story. We all have a relationship to the slavery past, and we should all be part of the solution. So this is an invitation to you and your listeners to contact me and share your ideas, because I see a lot of possibilities on the job market, on the housing market, in education, with stashes, but also how we see and design public space in Southeast. Uh, there are so many
Probably.
possibilities.
Yeah. So in the commemoration of the abolition of slavery, the plans which have been made for, I don't know whether it's only for this year, can you give us in broad outline some of the major things that are going to take place so that people can now fill in the spaces after the comments
Mhm.
with their many ideas and many projects and what have you?
Yeah, at July 1st, we started with Zuidoost Beseft.
Yeah.
As you know, we had a march going from Amstel Station towards the Oosterpark.
Yeah.
So we created this platform of Zuidoost bewoners
Yeah.
from every ethnicity. And in the upcoming months, we will contact them regularly so they can feed me with their ideas about how to fill in the space behind the comma. So it means we will have more meetings here in Stadsdeel Kantoor, like we had in the first 6 months of 2023.
Yeah.
There was a meeting with Tanya about mental health. There was a meeting with Raoul White, my other colleague, about the position of Black men in Southeast. And I held a meeting about the job market and anti-discrimination. So we will continue these meetings because it is important to listen to the experiences of people inside Oost. So I don't like to work top down. I like to work bottom up.
Well,
So there will be regularly meetings and contact where I ask Zuidoostbewoners for their ideas, because if we listen good, it means we are efficient and we can walk faster and hopefully towards positive result in a short period of time.
yeah, well, it's a great thing you just said. The Bewoners, how are the Bewoners represented in these meetings?
Exactly. That's the question I want to ask.
Yeah, how are they represented? What kind of groups are in there? Because we never even heard of any kind
Because
of
we've never heard about this, and we are in the media. We don't even know about this.
It's an open call. For each meeting, there's an open invitation. It is, but I am listening to your feedback. So I will make sure that when there are upcoming events, you will be informed separately as well. But these are open invitations shared on the socials of the Stadsdeelpagina, on Facebook, on Instagram. There are mailing lists, so it is an open call.
Okay.
So are all the ethnic groups being represented?
Yes,
All
as
the
well in the meetings as well as in Zuidoost Beseft. These are open calls. We are not selecting on. It's not. How do we say it? There's not a certain profile. The profile is you need to be a Zuidoost bewoner. This is the profile.
Yeah. Okay. But that's good to know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So now regarding the curriculum of the schools and the true portrayal of Dutch slavery past to students and pupils, what's going to change, or what do you think must change so that the kids in the schools get to know the truth about what really happened in the Dutch slavery past, so
Yeah.
that kids, both of migrant background and those of native Dutch, get to hear the story as it did happen. So they grow up with a clear understanding and this empathy and sympathy towards the Dutch slavery past, so that those mistakes do not get repeated. I'm sorry about the echo that is happening in the broadcast. Yeah.
This is a really important point you're making, because we noticed that the older generation of Dutch people have less knowledge about this period of time in Dutch history. So there are several initiatives at the moment lobbying for a more complete story on Dutch history in the history books at school. Um, so we're taking the apology of the king as an accelerator to fast forward and to integrate these stories in Dutch history lessons. So these are public initiatives. Yeah.
Okay, so that's coming.
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Mhm.
Okay.
So when it comes to discrimination in the Dutch society and on the job market, it is real and it is painful, but it has stubbornly lingered all these years. So how can everyone work towards true respect and equality for everyone, regardless of their skin color, race or religion or gender?
See, studies show that companies hire people who look like themselves. Because they are familiar with the body language, they are familiar with the set of words people use.
Yes.
So it's a natural thing to hire someone who behaves the same as you.
Yeah.
It's like hiring your mirror.
Yeah.
This is how it works. So what we need to do is to make people understand this natural behavior, so they acknowledge it and then they can change it, because what you don't know you cannot change. So the first step is that we address this with the companies and we ask them to have an honest look at their behavior so they can change it. Unfortunately, we don't have quota, because if we had quota, we would tackle this problem really fast, but we don't have quota. So we are willing to address this continuously, day in, day out, with the big companies, because at the moment, only 4% of Zuidoost bewoners work in Zuidoost. And I think this number must increase. This is not a question.
Yeah.
It must increase because there are so many benefits of Zuidoost bewoners working in Zuidoost.
Yes. Yeah, this issue has come up several times, and it's very important that we make a change uh, in this regard. But concretely, what's going to be the strategy to accomplish what you just said about changing the behavior of the hiring companies? How is that going to, how are you guys going to approach that? Because you spoke generally about, okay, talking to them, approaching them, or
Mhm.
whatever. But how is that really going to go? It's quite a huge task.
It's a huge task,
Yeah.
and we are dependent on people, so it makes it unpredictable what the outcome will be.
Yeah.
All I can say is I have 3 years left in office,
Yeah.
and this in these 3 years I will make use of the time to go out to each company and have this conversation with them, because a lot of companies state that they
People.
are investing in corporate social return.
Yeah.
So my question will be, if you stated yourself on your own that you are socially invested inside Oost, how do I see it? Where are the numbers? How
Yeah.
many Zuidoost bewoners are on your payroll?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
these are the questions I'm going to ask them. And if you are thinking, how come Vayhista is so at it, it's because I've lived here all my life, and I've seen a lot of my neighbors, my family members being disappointed
Yeah.
because they do have the quality, they invested in education, they invested in training to become the best version of themselves, and at the same time, they are rejected based on their postal code or on
Yes.
their name or on their skin color.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So this needs to stop. This needs to
Wow.
But may I ask, your predecessors, did they also fight the way you're fighting now?
Yes, because I have read, of course, what happened in the previous terms in Southeast.
Mhm.
Um, but I guess they were willing to believe these big companies on their goodwill.
Yeah.
And I think the time of goodwill or patience, there's not much time left.
I think something drastic must happen when you meet these big companies and they're not ready to respond, or they want to drag it as they've been doing.
Mm.
Probably they have to be given ultimatum to leave Southeast.
Or sanction them, maybe.
See, the municipality doesn't have these bevoegdheden. We
Yeah.
don't have them. This is a
Authority. Yeah.
nationwide subject.
Yeah.
If we're
Exactly.
talking about sanctions, yeah, this is a nationwide subject.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I'm using my bevoegdheden, and
Yeah.
what I can do
Yeah.
is to have this conversation to address it
Mhm.
continuously.
Mhm.
So it's not a one-time conversation. We need
Because
to talk about this all the time, every time, on every occasion.
it's very, very important that they get to hear it, because you see them afflicting South Coast owners in different ways, not only in the job market, as well in the residential areas, in their accommodation. You see them, they build their houses, they made them very, very expensive,
Mm-hmm.
irrespective of the fact that the South Coast or those living here do not have very good jobs. So they made their houses very expensive so that only those who have social service care will just live in such houses.
Mhm.
There is a shortage of houses in the Netherlands.
Mhm.
So this means the prices increase on a daily basis, but not only in Southeast,
Yes.
nationwide. And unfortunately, this is the reality we live in. But my colleague Raoul White, he has this voorwaarden for projects in Zuidoost, that 25% of the houses
Mhm.
need to be appointed to Zuidoost bewoners. So this is we as a dagelijks bestuur
Yeah.
try to facilitate the original Zuidoost bewoners.
Yes,
these are small steps, but in the end, it means 25% of the houses of every new project needs to go to Zuidoost
That's very
bewoners.
good. It's a good start, actually.
That's good.
It's a good start.
Mm.
Yeah, beautiful. So, listeners, if you still want to connect with us by a phone call, you're still welcome. The number is 020-737-1301, Radio Voice of Niger. Um, okay, I think we have covered quite a
Yeah, I have one question more,
Yeah,
please.
go ahead.
So the residents of Southeast, what are they expected to do? How are they supposed to participate in some of these two activities?
Yeah, so I heard your feedback. So we're doing an open call, but I will make sure that all local media will receive a separate invitation so you can promote it and invite your own community to attend.
Yeah.
Because our power is in diversity. So
Yes.
every study shows that if you have a group of people from different backgrounds, your result will be richer, better, more powerful. So this is the way we need to address every matter.
Okay. Well, then there's one more question, I guess, from my side. I don't know about the lady. In your 1st of July speech here, you extended an invite to the king and or the prime minister for a dialogue in the Balmamir. So, what do you expect to accomplish with that invite? And has there been a response to that invite?
There has not been a response yet, unfortunately. But what I hope to achieve, um, see, I need the king to have an image when he talks about this subject, about the past of slavery.
Yeah.
I need him to see what it means in present day for our Zuidoost bewoners.
Yeah.
And the only way to accomplish that is to invite him to Zuidoost and to show him how powerful we are, because no matter which setback we get, we are still standing.
Yes.
So he needs to see the strength of the Zuidoost bewoner. This is what I hope to accomplish. So when he responds to my invitation, I will let you know.
That's a
How
beautiful.
long is it gonna take him to respond? How long? Why is he delaying? Do you have any idea?
I don't have any idea, but I think the fall of the cabinet, there are so many
Issues.
current affairs he needs to address. So
Mm.
I guess we need to be patient. We need
Yeah.
to be patient.
Yeah. And maybe along the line, send a reminder. I'm sure he will be very glad to come. To respond to the invitation. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are at the end almost, unless the lady has a question. But I think we've covered all the things we plan or set out to do today. But certainly, this will be the beginning of many engagements with Mivral Vayhista. And it's been a pleasure having you on the show this morning.
Well, I just want to commend your boldness, and I think I love that boldness, and we will be praying for you specially so that
Thank
you know this your portfolio is a bit very hard to handle,
you.
but you are tough enough to handle it. I can say it, and I'm so proud of the boldness you are showing towards delivering your people and helping them to have what is supposed to be their right. And that's how it's supposed to be. We're supposed to, you know, be equally treated, and so that no human being is better than the other one or bigger than the other one. So thank you for your time, and thank you
Thank you
for
so much for the invitation, and thank you for a lovely conversation. Thank
your
you.
work, Your Excellency.